that our worship, temple worship or any worship for that matter, and it is there in our culture, it is already there. Swamiji goes in great, if we can, invoke the Bhagavata in me, and Bhagavata Bhagavan relationship, devotee Ishvara relationship, is the unique relationship which can be, which can be leading us to the oneness, which Jnanam also gives. Ultimate Jnanam and ultimate Bhakti are one and the same. Jnani to Atmaiva Mematam, Jnani is the Uttama Bhakti, we have seen it in the 4th chapter. Artha Bhakti, Arti Bhakta, Artharti Bhakta, Mumukshu Bhakta, Jnani Bhakta. And he says Jnani Atmaiva Mematam. And even in Bhakti also, if you are able to see what we say, all that is here is Ishvara. Everything is given. Okay, everything is given. That means, including our mind, body, senses, all our abhilashas, all our emotions, everything is given. It's all in the niyati. So, what we do when we go to Bhagavan, we surrender all that is best, most prestigious or precious for us. That is what symbolically we do by Pal Abhishekam, Ney Abhishekam, Vaira Abhishekam, Muttu Abhishekam, whatever, depending on the capacity of the people and all that. So the idea is we surrender, we give back whatever it is given to us. Everything is given except the I, the being. Everything is given, including our body, mind, senses, all our vibhutis, all our talents. And we surrender and... And Bhagavan also is what? Bhagavan is a giver. So he is, whatever is represented is Alankaram, Abhishekam, all the glory of the temple and all the Vaiduriyam, everything is the, it's all given. Ishvara is given or has given all. So what is ultimately at the time of this, the puja and Alankaram, Abhishekam, that Shodasha Kala, everything, whatever we can imagine, we have put it together and we have done it all. So, at the end of it, the being that is the receiver and the being that is the giver at the other end are there. Now we are going to do the Arti. The Karpura Nirajanam. Nirajanam meaning Rajanam, Rajati Rajanam. In the sense, it shines. And what shines? Only the oneness between Ishvara and me is signified in the Arati. So it is taken from him to you to him, like that. Nandi also, from Nandi to Shiva, Shiva to Nandi. So the oneness of the Ishvara and Jiva, the receiver as well as the giver are the beings, Atma and Ishvara. And everything given is in the whole worship, all the worship. So that is what we should, that is why we even sometimes when we after all the trouble, when we do the Arati, we close our eyes. We don't even see because we want to capture that oneness. We closing the eyes, want to keep it within ourselves, want to cherish the moment. And hopefully, we pray that we let that moment continue. And that is the bhavana. The Bhagavata, Bhagavan bhavana has to be taken into our life also when you come out of it also. So, this way, it is also in a way, a demonstration of reality. In the sense, everything that is there in the Prapancha, all that is moving and all are one reality. The Ishvara and Jiva's reality in terms of changing things. It's all one niyati. It's all totally put together as one niyati. In the sense, the Panchabhutam inside and the Panchabhutam outside are all one niyati. Actually, I was reading this thing. I will just, 1 minute, just hold on.
Prashant, we were asking Swamiji about that. Yesterday we were discussing temple visit.
There is one, in Ashtavakra Gita, there is one sloka. I will read it and Just listen to it. Pashya bhuta vikaramstvam bhuta matran yatartataha tat kshanat bandha nirmuktaha swarupasto bhavishyasi. The meaning is, one can get over all the dvandvas. Dvandvas meaning, which I have told you, that pairs of opposites. Once one sees clearly, bhuta vikaraihi, bhuta matram, yatartam pasya, all panchabhuta vikaraha. The jiva is also panchabhuta, and jagat also is panchabhuta, or both are connected. Are all in this Gita, what we have said this. Guna guneshu vartante iti matva na sajjante. One becomes free. Yatartataha pasya. Will not take them as real because they are continuously changing as subject to change, and hence mithya. It's all play. Characters are countless. With this understanding of mithya and reality of Chaitanyam, tat kshanat, once you understand it very thoroughly, once you understand everything is, whatever is given, all vikaraha, jiva, jagat, all things is represented in the temple, continuously changing all glory. Once you understand that, and the reality is signified in the arati, is the reality of Chaitanyam and Ishvara are one and the same. Tat kshanad muktihi. One becomes witness to the play. One abides in Swarupa. Drashtuhu Swarupe avasthanam. This is one particular sloka in Ashtavakra Gita where Ashtavakra teaches Janaka. So, this is how we have to look at the whole thing. It's all very beautiful. If you are able to retain that bhava, it's a bhavana. Initially it's a bhavana, but later it is reality. So a bhavana which is akin to reality. It is better to have that sort of a bhavana than which is out of place with reality. Going there and asking that they take care of this, take care of that. What? Who will take care? Your karma only will take care. He is only karma phala data. That is why he doesn't say I am karma prayojana data.
Oh, good.
I was telling. Bhagavan plays it very safe. Karma phala data. Whatever happens will come in the future. And when it happens, you really don't know which karma is because of which phalam. So you cannot really blame him. So these things we have to, listen, it's all question of understanding reality. Ultimately, so unless you are realistic in your approach towards anything for that matter, you are going to be in for disappointment. You want to avoid disappointment, you must be realistic. You must have that satyata in your approach. Okay, now let us do the prayer.
Partaya pradibodhitam bhagavatam narayanena swayam vyasena kratitam puranamulina madhye mahabharatam advaitamritavarshini bhagavati ashtadashadhyayini ambatvamarusandata bhagavati. Swamiji, this context, one more, this morning, I was thinking about it. They say Ambal is Maya Shakti. Ambal is Maya Shakti. And she plays, her Leela is only to make all the beings, go through their karma and samsara. So, when I think when I do puja, Ambal and I are the being, the Chaitanyam is the same. Okay, at that time I get a feeling she is Shakti, Maya Shakti, who is making me go through that Maya and and the Maya அப்படியே இதுவாயிடுறேன் நான். அப்போ எப்படி என்னால் she and I are the same அப்படின்னுட்டு நினைக்கிறதுக்கு அங்கே not much scope, because I know that she is the Maya Shakti who is making me do things, creating the Maya in me, rather. இல்லையா? ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி நினைக்கும்போது ரெண்டும் சேம் தான் அப்படின்னு நம்ம இந்த பீயிங் சைத்தன்யா அப்படின்னு நினைக்கிறது கொஞ்சம் ஐ ஃபவுண்ட் இட் டிஃபிகல்ட் when I started thinking that way. How to get over it?
Yeah, so basically the Maya Shakti also, it is the sense that when we approach it as Maya Shakti, it is what? It is given to you as by way of a stotra or a Puranam or your way of prayer, right? So that, as I was telling, the prayer, the sloka, everything is a prakriya. It is a prakriya that has been given to you, instilled in you to live a sane life. Okay? So that you are within the ambit of dharma. You don't go out of the way. Okay? At the same time, within the Maya Shakti, there is this Sattva Guna, Raja Guna, Tamo Guna. It is a combination, is the Maya Shakti. So, within that, there is, whether you will appreciate it or not, there is a free will which helps you to traverse from Tamo Guna to Rajo Guna to Sattva Guna. Tamo Guna to Rajo Guna to Sattva Guna is what? From just doing things as it occurs, even though dharmically, instead you move towards Sattva Guna where you inquire what is the reality behind the three. So when you are Sattva Guna, using your free will, when you improve your Sattva Guna, automatically you will find whatever I was reading to you now. Everything is Panchabhuta. Inside Panchabhuta, outside Panchabhuta are connected. So my body, mind, senses are all part of the Samashti. So my trying to say I be myself with reference to my body, mind, senses is an unrealistic understanding. My reality is the being, the Sattva, Suddha Sattva. Suddha Sattva is my being. All these body, mind, senses are changing. It's all part of the Rajoguna and Tamoguna. And I surrender unto the Shakti, Maya Shakti. And by the same Shakti, I am asking myself to be relieved of all this interplay of Panchabhuta inside, Panchabhuta outside. Let me be one with you.
Okay.
As a Shuddha Sattva. Because the same Shuddha Sattva only is what we call the Maya Shakti also is totally the same. Prakriya tells you Maya Shakti draws its power from the Chaitanya Shiva, Shiva Swarupa, and that is Shuddha Sattva.
Yes.
So that is why it is not getting affected. Same Shakti does not get affected because it is always ever aligned to Shuddha Sattva. So the same thing I pray for.
Okay.
That is why even in the Durga Suktam, the last it comes like that. Sarva Swarupe Sarvese Sarva Shakti Samanvide Vayapyastrahidaha Devi Durge Devi Namostute Rogan Aseshan Apahamsi Tushtaha Tushtatu Kaman Sakalana Vishwan Tvam Asritanam Navipannaranam Tvam Asritaki Asrayatam Prayanti. Then it says you only have to take me away from my vairi, means my all ragadvesha.
Sarva Bada Prashamanam.
Sarva
Bada Prashamanam Trailokya.
Sarva Bada Prashamanam Trailokya Aileshwari
Evam Eva Tvaya Karyam Asmat
Vairi Vinasanam. You only have to bless me to come out of this. Asmat Vairi Vinasanam is what? All my abhilashas and attachment to body, mind, senses. Relieve me, free me from all. You only have to help me. Because of you only I am caught up, but you only have to get me out of this also.
Yes.
So that is how it is. That is precisely what is expected. The same Shakti asks you to get out of this. See, because you have to grow. Till then, you have to be anchored in all the attitude, dharma, Ishvara worship and all that. But it is not, that's what I was telling you. You can be born in a temple.
Yes.
You have to grow. That is our responsibility to be born as a human being.
Okay.
Verse 22, knowledge of the Purusha frees you from samsara.
Huh?
Verse 22.
Have we gone to that?
The root
One
of
para
this
is-
attachment.
One
The
para is
root of
pending.
this
Okay.
attachment.
The root of this attachment to the gunas is the notion that one is the body, and because of that there is kartravya, kartritva. Then, because the prakriti gunas are taken as oneself, the desire for sukha, etc., is taken as oneself.
Yeah, this is precisely what I was talking about right now. The gunas, the prakriti guna, we appropriate ourselves. We think that prakriti gunas are taken as oneself. Not to do that, yeah.
In order to become a sukhi, there is already a conclusion that he is not a sukhi, and that conclusion is due to avidya. He can act to accomplish this sukha either in keeping with dharma, in which case he gathers punya, or by circumventing dharma and thereby gathering papa. Either way, this punya papa has to fructify, for which he must be born with another body. When he wants to become a sukhi and avoid being a dukhi, he has to do karmas, and because of karma phala, he gains birth in higher and lower wombs, sad asad yoni janmasu. Therefore, this wheel of samsara continues, and the cause for it is association with the gunas, gunasanga. This has to be negated only by knowledge of Atma, which is attended by dispassion and objective evaluation of things.
See, yeah, that's what it is. See, if you are willing to get tied up, Shakti, Ambal, you have given me all these things, I will keep doing nice good karmas, I will go to better lokas and come back. I will do some papa karmas, go to Naraka, come back. I will do some punya karma, go to keep on doing this. I can be within the ambit of Maya. Okay, but that is not, even though we are put in that situation because of our past avidya, you have to rise above it. Unless the wheel of samsara continues, and the cause for it is the association with the gunas, gunasanga. You can say it's all because of Maya Shakti and stay with where you are. Or the option is, this has to be negated only by knowledge of Atma, which is attended by dispassion and objective evaluation of things. You have to rise above that because you have got the free will. When you are very well, you are aware, when you are saying that I am being propelled by the Shakti, what is being propelled? Your gunasanga, your body, mind, senses. So when you say that also, you know very well, you are being propelled by your body, mind, senses. Gunasanga means what? You are away from your gunasanga and body, mind, senses. That is why you are able to say that. Then what is that I? That is that Atma. This has to be negated only by knowledge of Atma. You have to inquire into it. Which is attended by dispassion and objective evaluation of things. That is where the Shastra helps. The same Shakti will help. It will say bye-bye to you. You come on the other side of Mayavi. Come on my side and watch the fun. Don't get subjected yourself to Maya. Yeah.
Since the identification of the Purusha due to ignorance of the modifications of the gunas is called samsara, it is clear that samsara does not belong to the Purusha who is Atma. Prakriti cannot have samsara because it has no bhoktritva. Only Atma can be a bhokta because it alone is conscious. But being asanga and nirguna, how does Atma become a bhokta? With reference to the gunas of Prakriti, it is only because of identifying himself with them due to avidya. The negation of samsara takes place when this false identification resolves in the wake of knowledge.
See, that is your question is, how come when Atma, but being asanga and nirguna, how come I am being a bhakta, I am getting subjected to this Maya? You are asking. The answer is, it is only because you have identified yourselves with the gunas and the prakriti and all that. And the only way to get out of this negation of samsara takes place when the false identification resolves in the wake of knowledge. So you have to recognize that the Shakti or the guna prakriti, everything is Maya only. Maya meaning mithya.
Yes.
There is no reality of its own. You are the reality. So just imagine, here you are the real being and you have surrendered yourself to a Maya which is continuously changing. And by glorifying that it is Maya Shakti, I submit myself and stay where you are. You are only yourself to blame. So that is, we have to recognize this, very important recognition of this. Yeah.
Therefore, knowledge of the Purusha is necessary, and that is given in this verse. Verse 22, knowledge of the Purusha frees you from samsara. Upadrashtanumanta cha bharta bhokta maheshwaraha paramatmeti chapyukto dehesmin purusha paraha. Upadrashta, ultimate seer, Anumanta, permitter, cha bharta, sustainer, bhokta, enjoyer, maheshwaraha, limitless, Lord, creator, Paramatma cha mukta iti, and also called limitless self, dehe asmin api, in this body also, Purushaha, the person, Paraha, limitless. The ultimate seer, permitter, sustainer, enjoyer, limitless Lord, creator, and also called limitless self, is the Purusha, the person who is limitless in this body.
See, so clearly Bhagavan himself has told, you are the one, limitless, the person, the Purusha, is what is sitting in every being, every, every aspect of the creation, whether it is Jiva or Jagat, and he is ultimate seer, permitter, sustainer, enjoyer. You can call it Ishvara, creator, all are one and the same. The person who is, but the Swarupa you have to recognize. Swarupa is not the changing the Prakriti and Panchabhuta and all that. It is the Swarupa of the Prakriti, whether it is the Jiva or the Jagat. That Swarupa you have to identify, the limitless self. Desha Kala Vastu Parichinna, Aparichinnam and all we have been discussing, which is not limitless, timeless, changeless, objectless being. That is what is being referred to here. Yeah.
The ultimate seer, this Purusha is Upadrashta. A Drashta is a seer, and the prefix Upa means close. So he is a seer who is close. Shankara gives an example in a ritual, that is Yajamana, the one who is having the ritual done and who has some actions to carry out in the performance of the ritual. Then there are the Ritviks, the officiating priests, who do the ritual. Besides these, there is another person sitting there who knows exactly how the ritual is to be performed, but does not do anything himself. Though he remains very close to all the activity, he does not perform any action. Similarly, the Purusha is not active himself, but in his presence, all activities of the physical body, mind and senses take place. The prefix Upa is important here because it indicates that Purusha is never away. That is why elsewhere it is called Srotrasya Srotram.
Yeah, in Kenopanishad it says Srotrasya Srotram, meaning ear of the ear. Ear of the ear meaning we think the ear functions, but we know very well when the ear catches a sound, there are some so many millions of nuances of sound, but it picks up certain frequencies. How? We think that ear is there is a sound we picks up. It doesn't happen. It's all not happening automatically. There is some niyati that connects a particular ear to a particular sound. What I hear, you don't hear. What the bat hears, you and I don't hear. Why? Because there is a niyati, there is a connection. And who is behind the connection? Srotrasya Srotram, the Chaitanyam. Behind this all niyati is that is that is why that is a Purusha. That has to be recognized. So whatever we hear, we have the ear, we hear and all that, it's all happening. Whatever things, natural things happen naturally. But how it happens? The niyati behind all this is controlled by a niyanta, antaryami. That is the Purusha that is being referred to, which you have to recognize. Yeah.
Its presence is there behind all the senses, organs of action, and the mind without itself performing any action. This is Atma.
The second meaning for the word Upadrashta, Swamiji, I was just thinking, we read something similar before. Pada, Pani, the lots of Atma is full of
Yes,
legs, hands.
Yeah,
Right.
Sahasraksha, Sahasrabad and all
Ah,
it
yeah,
comes, no?
that
Even-
Purusha Sukta was also mentioned.
Yeah.
Same thing here, huh?
Yes, everything. It's all only a, how can anyone have Sahasraksha, Sahasrabad? It is only a visualization. In the sense, it is there in Antaryami in everything. Niyati.
Okay.
Niyati, behind all the Niyati, who is there is Sahasraksha, Sahasrabad. That is Ishvara Swarupam. That is your Swarupam. If you really analyze, inquire into it, Ishvara Swarupam cannot be anything different from you because it has to be limitless and it cannot be an object and it cannot be time bound and space bound. And if you really inquire into yourself also, when you understand that your being is separate from your body, mind, senses and you are observing all of them, then naturally it doesn't have a time bound, space bound, object bound, it's niravayava. It doesn't belong to any, because all avayavas are you are observing. It doesn't have any limbs. It doesn't have any, your past also you see, your future also you see, present also you see the being. That being cannot be different, there can be two beings, there can be only one being. That's precisely what he is trying to say. That is Atma. Paramatma, sometimes it's called Brahmatma. So that identity we have to be seeing all the time. That is precisely how we are going about. Yeah.
The second meaning for the word Upadrashta is the seer who is close in the sense of innermost. The physical body is a seer in the sense that the sense of touch pervades it and it can detect heat, cold and so on. Similarly, the eye as a sense organ is a seer. The mind is the seer of the senses without which they cannot function. But the one who sees the mind is the real seer because of which the mind, senses and so on all see. That is the final seer beyond whom there is no seer and who is called Upadrashta. A third meaning is the one who lights up the knower, knowledge and the known, Jnata, Jnana and Jnaya, because it is always near and at the same time the seer of everything. All meanings are equally applicable. Anumanta is the one who is the permitter, the one who approves. Whatever the mind does, Atma is satisfied. Being fullness by nature, it never lacks and is always relaxed and happy, no matter what changes the mind is undergoing. Secondly, while Atma performs no action, it is as though an accomplice to all the activities of the mind, senses and body, because without Atma none of them can be active. The third meaning given by Shankara for Anumanta is the one who supports all the activities of the body, mind and senses by lighting them up. He does not stand opposed to anything but is the great permitter, the one who does not resist at all. If the mind is restless, Atma will light up the restlessness. When the mind is pleased, it will light up the pleased mind. It is not against any condition because its nature is luminosity like the sun. Bharta is the one who sustains. The body, mind and senses exist and are conscious due to Atma. The eyes function as instruments of sight and the ears as instruments of hearing because of Atma. He gives existence not only to this body but to the entire Prakriti. That Prakriti, that is the cause of everything, is sustained by the Purusha who is Chaitanya Atma. This consciousness is the sustainer of not only this body, mind, sense complex but of the entire creation. Bhokta means the one who finally enjoys everything, being the very Swarupa of the Bhokta. If Ahangara is the Bhokta, Purusha is the one that sustains that Bhokta. Another meaning is the one who devours everything, Samharana Karta. Everything is dissolved in deep sleep except Purusha, and also at the dissolution of the entire creation, everything is resolved into the Purusha. All the Nama Rupas are resolved into the Prakriti Upadi, which is rooted in the Purusha. Therefore, Purusha is called Bhokta, the devourer, Samharana Karta. Maheshwaraha is the one who is limitless and is Ishvara. Mahan cha asau Ishvaraha, in whose presence alone all activities take place. Ishvara is also the creator. Thus, the Purusha with the Prakriti is not only the sustainer, Bhatta, the dissolver, Samharanakarta, and the enjoyer, Bhokta, but also the creator of all this is as the Nimitta Karana. In the Shruti, this Purusha is also called Paramatma, the one who is limitless and who is the self. Kaivalyopanishad says, knowing Paramatma, he becomes Paramatma. Kaivalyopanishad 27. He is also the one who obtains in this physical body, Dehe Asmin Purushaha, and is limitless, Para, being the very basis of Prakriti. Being limitless, there is only one self, and not many, in spite of the fact that there are many physical bodies. This Purusha, who is the sustainer, destroyer, and creator of the entire creation, is Paramatma. It is limitless and it is I. Thus, Purusha, who is I, the one who dwells in this body, and his fullness, Purna, is also the ultimate seer, Upadrashta, the great permitter, Anumanta, and the sustainer, destroyer, and creator of all this, Bharta, Bhokta, Maheshwaraha.
See, like compared to the previous 12 chapters, from now on, every time the Ishvara or the Brahman is talked about, you also will be talked about. So that the Asi, the equation becomes complete. So the self, Paramatma, Ishvara, all will be all the time continuously, seamlessly mentioned, so that you understand that reality of the limitless the self is the reality of Ishvara, so that the understanding is complete. Yeah.
Verse 23, the one who knows the Purusha and Prakriti is not born again. Yayevam veti purusham prakritim cha gunai saha sarvata vartamanopi nasabhuyo bijayate. Yaha, the one who purusham prakritim cha, Purusha and Prakriti, gunaihi saha, along with his attributes, evam veti, knows in this manner, sarvatha, in all ways, vartamanaha api, even though, saha, he, bhuyaha, again, na abhijayate, is not born. The one who knows in this manner, Purusha and Prakriti, along with its attributes, even though engaged in all ways, he is not born again. The one who knows this Purusha, as just described, is not reborn because he knows that Atma is not subject to time. Generally, when one knows something, there is the object of knowing, Jnana Karma, and the agent of knowing, Jnana Karta. Whenever a verb is used, as it is here, there must be an action, and if there is an action, there must be an agent. For that action, there will also necessarily be an object if the verb is transitive. The verb to know is transitive, and thus there is the one who knows and the object of such knowledge. If one knows Atma, does Atma become an object of knowledge entirely different from the knower? If so, who is the knower? How can I be the knower when the object of my knowledge is myself? This is why it is more accurate to say that with reference to Atma, there is no ignorance, because knowledge of Atma has removed that ignorance. Once the ignorance has gone, Atma is revealed as Upadrashta, Anumanta, Bharta, Bhokta, Maheshwaraha, Paramatma. All these words are meaningful to me as the truth of myself. Not only does he know the Purusha in this way, he also knows Prakriti along with its gunas, properties. As we have seen, Prakriti accounts for the body, mind, sense complex, Karya, Karana, Sanghata. The one who knows Prakriti and its gunas and knows Purusha as Upadrashta, etc., even though engaged in an activity, Sarvata Vartamana api, is not born again, Nasa Bhuyaha Abhijayate. If he is a king, he may continue to rule like Janaka. If he is a sadhu, he may teach or not. If he is a grihastha, he may remain with his family or walk out like Yajnavalkya. After gaining this knowledge, he may live any type of life, but the karmas done in living that life do not touch him at all. Once his body has fallen, he does not assume a birth in another form because he knows that he has no form, and is free from time. While he remains in this body, his prarabdha karma takes over, and whatever is there will occur without any interference from his will. There is no adishta phala of these actions for him, because there is no agent performing the actions to whom the results can accrue. The past accumulated karmas, sanchita karma, have already gone with the negation of the karta. All that remains is the prarabdha karma, which will naturally get exhausted. The one who recognizes that the nature of Purusha, the Atma, is actionlessness, and that the Prakriti performs action, is freed from all karma and therefore has no rebirth.
Yeah, basically what he means is your body, mind, senses, the whole is part of the Prakriti. So whatever is happening is in the combination of your Jiva and Jagat, and the Niyati is Ishvara, the Nimitta Karana. So Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara continues. It continues as one continuous entity, purely self-propelling because everything, all the Shakti, all the power, all the Nyaya, all the Dharma are within that only. So it all happens. Your Panchabhuta and outside Panchabhuta are all connected. Any small thing you do, it will immediately affect the Samashti. Accordingly, there will be consequence. It continuously happens. So the Veshti and Samashti are totally related, totally connected, and it happens. If you identify either with the Veshti and the Samashti, you will feel affected. And you cannot control it also, because it's all happening in the Niyati. So the only way you are not being affected is to stay away. Stay away meaning what? You stay along with the Niyanta. Taryami, along with that, the Sarupa, you stay with your Sarupa. Why you get out of your Sarupa and get aligned with something which is not your Sarupa? So if you are able to do that, it is all what you call by cognition. It is not that physically. That's why he says physically you don't have to. You can continue to be doing whatever your body, wherever you go, your body is going to come anyway. So it will be continuously doing. But your identification is the problem. So problem is not what you call attachment or association. Identification. So the identification, if you are alert to that, then automatically you are not affected by that. In the sense, whatever has to happen will happen, you will be able to accept it, and you will be able to contribute also objectively, rather than getting affected by it. If you get affected by it, naturally you will think that that fellow is bigger than me, how to get bigger, it's on likelihood I will do adharma. Whereas if you are not identifying, you will do what is fair in all fairness as part of the samashti. So that is precisely what he says. In the sense, the whole karta, bhokta, pala and all that, it is all matrix. It's all a matrix, a prakriya to help you to survive in the absence of your understanding of the self. If you don't know, still you have to get along. Your Bhagavan is compassionate enough still to keep you in good spirits by following the dharma. Okay, till the time you inquire and understand, you be doing what you are supposed to do. At least you don't go ahead. You keep your mind conflict free. Your mind chitta shuddhi, chitta samadhanam and all, let it be in place. So that you will be, one day when you try to inquire, your mind will be ready. So to live a sane life only, the matrix of this, the dharma, artha, kama, all this phala, bhoga, punya, papa, the whole thing. It is only, see, it's all a prakriya in the sense, the whole srishti is what is given to us by the Shastra. The Shastra is what? The Shastra is visualized what all we go through and made it very, very livable for the 99% of the population. So that the whole dharma chakra will continue. But after that, a few people, that 1% will inquire and raise above this chakra. And once you understand, once you understand means what? Cognitively, once you understand, the body will continue whatever job it has come for, it will live out its prarabdha and go wherever you are, whatever you are. But you are already free because you have understood the reality behind the whole thing. That is precisely what he has told. And there is a question now. Somebody is asking a question. Let us read it. Yeah.
Will somebody continue?
Kumar or Prashant?
Prashant.
I shall read where you are
Yeah.
saying.
Purva Paksha Siddhanta
Purva-paksha
Vichara.
Siddhanta Vichara.
I will read.
Yeah, yeah, read.
An objection, that is the thing, an objection.
Yeah.
An
Yes.
objection. Sanchita karma cannot be destroyed, therefore he will be born again. That's the one, no?
Yeah.
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 Okay, I will do it. An argument can be put forth that before knowledge there was a good amount of karma gathered in this life for which he would have to take, if not many, at least one birth to exhaust. Then there is the vast amount of sanchita karma accumulated in countless prior births. These cannot be destroyed without fructifying because they have already been initiated. Once an action is performed, there is bound to be a result. Even though he has knowledge, because of prarabdha karma, he continues to live, extending the same logic to the sanchita karma that he has already accumulated. Should he not reap their results? What is the difference between the prarabdha karma, which keeps him going, and other karmas that he did before? If the prarabdha karma can keep his body going, then sanchita karma should bring him a new body. Then again, whatever he did in this life before knowledge should be accounted for, and even what he does after the knowledge will produce some result for which the birth is required. If karma is destroyed without results, why should one do karma? If karma can be destroyed without producing a result, why should anyone do any karma? If you say that sometimes it produces a result and sometimes it destroys itself, that undermines belief in the Shastra, which says that for a specific karma, there is a specific result. The karta must necessarily believe that he will enjoy the karma phala in order to have shraddha in the Shastra. Further, the entire karma kanda Shastra should become useless if karma can be destroyed without producing a result. Answer: Shastra alone is the pramana for this. Our answer to this lies only in Shastra. The very Shastra that tells us about unseen results is a form of punya papa. Also says his karmas are destroyed in that vision of the limitless Siyanta Siddhya Karma.
Shiyante chasya karmani tasmin drishte parabare. That is a Mundakopanishad sloka. That is what he says. Yeah.
Chiyante chasya karmani tasmin drishte paravare. Paravare. Okay.
Yes.
And the Smriti says the fire of knowledge destroys all karma. Jnanagni
bhasmasat kurute.
Gita.
Jnana agnihi bhasmasat kurute means it converts into ashes. The jnana agni, because when you are quoting the Shastra, you have to quote the Shastra fully. You say Shastra says karma, every karma will have phalam will be there. You have to take a body to exhaust the karma. The same Shastra tells you, if you understand jnanagnihi bhasmasat kurute, when you understand the reality, it will annihilate all the karmas into your account, which is there lying in your account.
Gita.
Shiyante tasya karmani tasmin drishte paravare, meaning by seeing the reality. Drishte meaning seeing the para and avaram. Para and avaram meaning what is karma. Para means parabuddhi. Once you see the reality of these two, te paravare, Shiyante, all karma to your account will get destroyed. The same Shastra is saying that. So, the matrix, that's why I am telling the whole prakriya. We have to see the whole thing Shastra given us is a Srishti prakriya to explain. If you do a karma, there will be a phalam and all that. If there is a phalam, there will be a body. You have to take a body to enjoy that phalam and all that. So, if you do good karma, there will be good phalam and you will get good body. If you do bad karma, there will be bad phalam and you will get a bad body. So this sort of a cycle is maintained, but you can get out of the cycle by understanding the reality of the whole thing. That is what the Shastra prescribes. That is what he is saying now. Yeah.
So Jnanagnihi Bhasmasat Kurute. Just a second, sir.
Once he comes to know,
Once he comes to know that Atma is Brahman, all the karmas are destroyed and he is not reborn. Shruti also says the one who knows Brahman is Brahman himself, Brahman itself. Brahma Veda, Brahma Iva Bhavati.
Eva Bhav.
Brahma Veda, Brahma Eva Bhavati. Brahma Eva. Eva means he is a Brahma alone. Brahma Veda, Brahma Eva Bhavati. Yeah.
Bhagavad
Brahma Iva Bhavati.
Eva.
No, Eva. Brahma Eva means he alone is Brahma.
There's no line about that E. No?
Eva no. It is Eva. In English it is mentioned here, Eva.
Since Brahman is Nitya, there is no possibility of being born for the one who knows this as truth of himself because he is not within the scope of time. And it says, the knower of Brahman gains limitless Brahmavid.
Apnoti param.
That is Brahmavid Apnoti param.
Most of us would have heard this. The Upanishad chanting is always coming. I myself have told you many times. Brahmavit apnoti param. Apnoti param meaning the person who understands Brahman, he is Brahman. Apnoti means he becomes Brahman. Yeah.
Being limitless, he has no form that can take birth, nor is there any place where he is not to be born therein. The destruction of all karmas for the one who knows himself as Brahman is stated everywhere in the Shruti and also here in the Gita. When the Shastra says that Sarva Karmani, all karmas are destroyed, there is no reason to restrict the meaning to only the karmas done after knowledge. When there is no basis for restricting the meaning, Sarva Karmani means literally all karmas. Karma phala are only for karta. Reasoning also supports this. All karma and karma phalas are for the one who has ignorance. With that as a basis, there is a karta. There is a karta, the ahankara, who performs various karmas that are the cause for new births for him. Only for the one who has the notion, I am the doer, do the karmas produce results in the form of a birth and experiences gained through that. But the karmas done without that notion do not produce any results. Such karmas can produce a drishtapala, an immediate seen result, but no unseen result, adrishtapala, in the form of punya papa. They have to accrue to the karma, and when the karta is,
they have to accrue to the karta.
They have to accrue to the karta, and when the karta is not there, there can be no adrishtapala. Next, sanchita karmas and prarabdha karmas are not similar. Further, he answers the argument that since prarabdha karma is not destroyed because it has already begun, the sanchita karma, which has also been initiated, would also not be destroyed. This physical body is like a released arrow. If the person becomes a jnani, then like an arrow that is already released, continues on its trajectory, even though he has no identification with it. The human body is meant for moksha. Once that is achieved, now how long it travels after that depends upon its momentum. The karmas that have brought this body into being, when that is exhausted, then alone it stops. Even though its purpose is accomplished and its existence is no longer really necessary, still the karma that has brought the body into being will run its course because knowledge can only destroy an error, not empirical reality. Knowledge that the sun does not rise does not destroy the perception of it rising in the eastern sky. It does, however, destroy any wrong conclusion born of ignorance. Nor will knowledge of a mirage destroy
Mirage. Yeah.
Nor will knowledge of a mirage destroy the appearance of the mirage because the causes for that belong to Ishvara. knowledge need not destroy these appearances either because it has already destroyed their reality. They are recognized as being mithya. Once the reality of the creation is destroyed, the reality of duality is destroyed. That does not mean the perception of duality is destroyed, nor does it need to be. If the duality were real, it could not be destroyed either. The so-called duality is destroyed because the truth of the object known, jnaya, the instrument of knowledge, jnana, and the knower, jnata, are all revealed as one Param Brahma. All the three continue to exist, but the reality and hence the reality of their vision of their division has been falsified.
Jnate in Mandukya Upanishad says Jnate Dvaitam na vidyate, meaning once you understand, Dvaita vanishes, even though the perceptions will continue.
What happened?
Problem.
Yeah, Prashant can read.
There's some problem, is there?
You are hearing, we are not able to listen to you.
No. No, now I am audible.
Yeah. Yes. Come again.
It does not and need not destroy the jnana, jata jnana, and the jnana.
No. Hello. It does not need and need not destroy the jnata, jnana, and the jnaya. In the sense, even though the perception of the difference, jnata, jnana, jnaya is there, it is the reality has been falsified. Even though you can still operate as a jnana, jnata, jnaya, and all. That's what he's saying. Yeah.
It does not and need not destroy the jnata, jnana, jnaya.
Yeah.
This body, brought into being by karma, will continue as it was before knowledge, undergoing experiences until the force of that karma is exhausted. What about sanchita karma? What about sanchita karma? That karma is in the name of the karta who has been dismissed by knowledge, and therefore it has no place to which it can fasten itself. They are like the actions done in a dream. Once the person wakes up, he is no longer accountable for them. Shankara uses another example to illustrate this. Suppose an arrow is not released because the anchor has lost interest in shooting. What will happen? The arrow has no more targets to reach. Similarly, these various karmas which have their basis in the karta who is negated by knowledge are also negated. They are rendered incapable. They are rendered incapable of producing any birth, etc. Therefore, when the physical body of the wise man falls, he is not reborn. But
because the karta is not there. The karta is not there. So karma can get attached only when the karta is there. The karta itself is negated by way of knowledge. So when the body falls, there is no karta available for the. Because the fellow is not there. You are able to hear me?
No, Naduvula, we couldn't hear 2-3 lines.
How?
no, I am able to hear. Any problem with others or with me?
Oh, we couldn't hear.
Yeah. Now it's okay.
Now it's okay.
Yeah.
No, I am able to hear everybody.
Yeah. Okay. May there have been some connection problem. Yeah. So verse 24.
Verse 24. For Atma Darshana, some optional methods are cited. Dhyaye natmani pashyanti kechidatmanam atmana anye sankyena yogena karma yogena chapare. Is it audible?
Yeah.
Very much.
Dhyanena, by contemplation, Atmani in the self, mind, Pashyanti kechit, some see, Atmanam, the self, Atmana, with the self, the prepared mind, Anye, others, Sankyena Yogena, by knowledge, by inquiry, Cha apare, and some others, karma yogena, by karma yoga, by contemplation, some see the self in the self mind, with the self, the prepared mind, others by inquiry, and some others by karma yoga. One second. Shankara introduces this verse saying that regarding the vision of Atma,
No, by
Atma.
contemplation.
இல்லை சரியா சொல்லியாச்சு. Let's finish. Go on.
Shankara introduces this verse saying that regarding the vision of Atma, Atma Darshane, there are many optional methods and these are cited here. Shankara's use of the word Darshana, vision, is important and deliberate. The context is a dialogue in Brihadaranyakopaniषद between Yajnavalkya and his wife Maitreyi. He has decided to distribute his wealth to his two wives and live a life of sannyasa for the purpose of gaining moksha. Maitreyi asked him whether with all the wealth he was leaving her, she could also gain moksha, and he responded that there was no hope of getting moksha by wealth. Then she asked him for the means for moksha: Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana. First, he makes her understand that love for anything is for one's own sake, and finally, it is the self that is the most beloved. Therefore, he tells her, indeed, my dear, Atma has to be seen. Atma va are drashtavyaha.
Drashtavyaha means to be seen.
Brihadaranyakopaniषद 2.4.5. Drashtavya, it has to be seen means it has to be known clearly as if it were seen. For that, what should be done? How am I to see myself? Since any known means of knowledge is inappropriate to know oneself, the knower Yajnavalkya says, indeed, my dear, Atma has to be listened to. Atmava are shrotavyaha. Listening in the context is inquiry into the Vedanta Shastra with the help of a teacher. Since I am here already, Atma cannot be gained unless it is in terms of knowledge, and therefore this pravana is necessary.
It is something like here, like you can't see yourself. So what do we do? I have given this example before also. So when you want to see your face, you cannot see yourself. So what do? You get a mirror. Right? Here also, Shastra is the mirror. Pramana, Shastra is the mirror. That is why Atma Vare Shrotavyaha. The word mirror it is. The Shrotavya means you have to listen to the Shruti by way of from the teacher, who is able to transfer the vision. In the mirror, you see your face. Okay? The mirror, you see your face. In the same way, the word mirror with which the Acharya saw his own reality, the same word mirror, he has to convey to you so that you can see your Swarupa. Because the Swarupa of you and the Swarupa for the Acharya are one and the same. So the word mirror that he uses has to be so very clear and so very thorough that the Swarupa which he saw in that word mirror, that is his own Guru's words or Shastra's words, the same mirror he must be able to give it to you so that you can also see the Swarupa. So there cannot be any distortion. When he received it also, there should not be any distortion. When we hands it over to you also, there cannot be any distortion. To that extent, the word mirror has to be reflecting your reality, because there is no way you can see yourself. Because like we know that I can't see my face, however intelligent I am without a mirror. So here also the word mirror is called Atmavare Shrotavyaha. First it says Drashtavyaha, then it says, how can you see? You cannot see unless there is a mirror. So that is why Atmavare follows it up.
After listening, there can be doubts put forth by my own intellect or by others. A Buddhist will say that Atma is Shunya, and I have to see for myself very intimately how that is wrong. Otherwise, it is my doubt also. Anything that is said against the vision of the Shruti, which I have come to understand by proper Shravana, has to be very closely analyzed and met with. Therefore, Yajnavalkya says, indeed, my dear, the self is to be reflected upon Atmava Are Mantavyaha. Then, even if everything is very clearly understood, the orientation that one is the body can still remain. This has been there for countless births, so that even though I know that I am not the body, being hostage to the past, the orientation does not immediately get corrected. This knowledge is what we call knowledge with obstructions. Sat Pratibandhaka Jnana.
Pratibandhaka Jnanam means Jnanam fraught with doubts or Jnanam fraught with obstructions.
Therefore, I have to contemplate upon this Pratyagatma that was unfolded by the Shastra. Yajnavalkya says, indeed, my dear, the self is to be contemplated upon Atma va Are
Nididhyasitavya. It's called
Nididhyasitavyaha.
contemplation on the truth. It's called Nididhyasanam. If you are just doing upasana, it's called meditation. So here you understand the whole Shastra. Now you want to contemplate, to claim that reality. So you will bring in the Shastra's words and whatever listen to, whatever doubts you have cleared and all in your contemplation, so that it all becomes very clear to you.
It is to be done purely for the sake of removal of obstructions. How long? How do you know when to stop eating? This is the same. It will stop itself. You need not exercise your will to stop it. Some people require Nididhyasana. This is the contemplation that is talked of in this verse when he says, by contemplation, some see the self. Dhyanena pashyanti kechit atmanam. Again, the word see, pashyanti is used. Contemplation is specifically mentioned here because it's very rare for a mumukshu not to require it. Every person has obstructions to knowledge, and the majority have to spend time in contemplation upon Pratyagatma, being Satchit Anandam Brahma. Shankara describes Nididhyasana here as resolving the sense organs from the sense objects into the mind, and the mind into Pratyagatma, which is nothing but consciousness, and dwelling upon that with a single pointedness. That is dhyana. As an illustration of how it is to be done, he says that one should meditate without moving from that which is contemplated upon, just as a crane with its beak in the water, waiting for something to move, or like the mountains on the earth standing motionless seems to meditate. Or like the mountains on the earth standing motionless seems to meditate. Dwelling upon Pratyagatma can be twofold. As you see any object, either perceptually or in your mind, you turn your attention towards Pratyagatma, who is Sakshi. This is Drishya, Anuvida,
Anuvidya, Drishya, Anuvidya, Savikalpa Dhyana.
Drishya, Anuvidya, Savikalpa Dhyana. Then you bring in words that are true to the nature of Pratyagatma, like Chaitanya, Purna, and see how meaningful they are for you. This is Shabda Anuvidya Savikalpa Dhyana. How can I be Purna? If I am the body or a thought, I cannot be Purna. In order to meditate upon Atma, you first have to know what Atma is, and that knowledge is gained from the Shastra. Meditation will not reveal Atma because the meditator is Atma, and therefore whatever you know about yourself will be the Atma that is meditated upon. So Shravana is not an option here at all, because of that alone these words are meaningful. We meditate purely for the removal of obstructions to our clear understanding of Shastra, and therefore it is a part of Shravana. The dhyana mentioned here is not upasana or prayer, that is something entirely different and is meant for gaining steadiness of mind and certain grace.
That is called meditation. That the dhyana mentioned as upasana is called meditation. Just to bring in that ekagrata, that how to keep our mind not distracted and all. It's a practice. Whereas here, now you have got enough material to contemplate upon. So you don't, and what you contemplate upon? Your Purnatvam. So there is enough incentive to stay with it. You won't move away from it. Once you cut that stage in life where you are contemplative, you'll be happy to do, actually, you'll be very happy to be contemplative at any point in time. So whenever you get time, you'll be contemplative, because what you are contemplating upon? You are contemplating upon your own Purnatvam. It is something like Karumbutinna Kuliyangra Mari. So you'll be happy to do that. So there, at that time, you are not going to be distracted or something like that. So that part, that bridge has already been crossed. Meditation practice meditative mind, ekagrata padiche, you are now ready to contemplate. Whenever you get time, you contemplate on your reality. So that is called contemplation. That is what Yajnavalkya tells after Shravanam, Mananam and Nididhyasana. Yeah.
The dhyana mentioned here is not upasana or prayer. Sorry, we meditate purely for the removal of obstructions to our clear understanding of Shastra, and therefore it is a part of Shravana. The dhyana mentioned here is not upasana or prayer, that is something entirely different and is meant for gaining steadiness of mind and certain grace. Because Bhagavan has said they see the self by the self-prepared mind. Atmana Atmanam Pashyati.
Atmanam Pashyati.
Atmana Atmanam Pashyanti.
Nididhyasana. By me, I see myself. Because my reality, I see in the words of the Shastra, which I have understood like a mirror. Now I am seeing that mirror inside my mind. That is contemplation.
Dhyana here is Nididhyasana. If dhyana is taken as Saguna Brahma Upasana, then Shankara says it is like the flow of oil. As a ribbon of oil constantly flows from one vessel to the other, so too in dhyana, this is the consistent undisturbed flow of the same vritti or vrittis that belong to the same species. Sajatiya vritti
Sajatiya vritti pravaha.
Sajatiya vritti pravaha.
Sajati meaning the same item, the same oil, no, that comes with like a dhara, it comes continuously without any disturbance. So that pravaha nityatvam is what is called meditation. That's what he's saying. You would imagine that. Yeah.
1 minute, something
It can
happened.
be
If dhyana is taken as Saguna Brahma Upasana, then Shankara says it is like the flow of oil. As a ribbon of oil consistently flows from one vessel to the other, so too in dhyana, there is the consistent undisturbed flow of the same vritti or vrittis that belongs to the same species. Sajatiya vritti pravaha. It can be japa or any type of meditation upon Ishvara. This is also dhyana and can precede Nididhyasana if necessary in order to steady the mind. Along with this, he continues to do Shravana. Atmani means in the Buddhi. There they see the Purna Atma, which means they recognize Atma as Purna. By seeing one by one that it is free from any particular limitation like being a seer, hearer, thinker and so on, free from all doership, enjoyership and is pure existence, doership, enjoyership, etc. and is pure existence, pure consciousness and limitlessness. They see the Purna Atma. All this they see as it was taught to the mind, Atmana, that is well prepared. Atma is not an object of the buddhi by its very nature and therefore cannot be seen as we literally understand it. All we have to do is to negate all the notions about Atma and recognize the implied meaning. Lakshyartha, of the words revealing the nature of Atma. Thereby the notions of being limited, happy, sad and so on are negated. In contemplation, we bring in the opposite of these notions until they finally drop off. Can someone read?
if one is ready, only vichara is required. If one is ready, only inquiry, vichara is required. Thus Bhagavan says, some see the self by knowledge, atmanam pashyanti kechit sankhena yogena. By Shravana alone, they know the reality of Purusha and Prakriti and are liberated by that knowledge. They have no other problem. Since Karma Yogi is mentioned Karma Yoga is mentioned separately in this verse, we have to understand these people as sannyasis or qualified people who do not have any obstruction in getting this knowledge. That means there is discriminating capacity, viveka, dispassion or objectivity, vairagya and all the other qualifications like sama, dhamma and so on. Then you
Yeah,
can
and samadhama and so on, meaning the sadhana chatushtaya sampanni. This is the preparedness of the mind to own up and claim this reality is complete. Almost like you have got all that titiksha, that you don't get distracted by any problems in your life and all that. Because you have got that. You have got that titiksha, that question of glad acceptance and all that, which you have discussed many times. Samadhama, samadhanam, titiksha, vairagyam, then we call shraddha, then all those things are there in almost complete in full measure. So because of that, irrespective of wherever we are, whatever he is doing, he will be able to contemplate and see the reality whenever he does the contemplate. There is no disturbance. So that is what he is talking about. The people who are qualified with that sadhana chatushtaya sampanna. That is what he says. Samadhama, etc. Yeah.
Then you
Then you
have
have
an
an
ideal
ideal
situation
for
for
gaining this
gaining
knowledge.
this knowledge. All you have to do is Shravana. Shankara says such a person sees the self as eternal, distinct from the properties of the gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas, and in the form of a witness of their karya.
Exactly. That is what we discussed in the beginning of this today's session.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
When he begins to yawn, he sees it as an effect of tamas. When he is agitated, that is rajas. And when he is very appreciative or contemplative, it is sattva. Since these are seen by him, it is clear that he is distinct from all of them.
Exactly. That is what you have to understand. When you see that, you are distinct. You are seeing that means what? It is away from you. Why do you identify with it? You see it and let it pass.
Atma does not yawn, much less does it get agitated or become quiet. It is always quiet, in fact, it is free from any change. All the three gunas are seen expressing as qualities of the antakarana. Not only that, they account for the entire creation. The five gross elements, Panchabhutas, are born of tamas, of the subtle elements. Which is why they are inert, jada.
What happened?
The organs of action and the prana are born of rajas, and organs of perception, jnanendriyas, and antakarana are born of sattva. Then there are different vrittis brought about by these gunas. Atma is the witness of all these various products of the gunas, which amounts to the entire creation, and it is nitya, which means it does not come into being. Atma Chaitanya is always a witness, sakshi, with reference to something to be witnessed. In and of itself, it is of the nature of pure consciousness, and being distinct from all gunas, they do not bind him at all. This viveka is called Sankhya. Since the next one is Karma Yoga, this one and the one who must also do contemplation, Nitidhyasana, should be taken as sannyasis. They have nothing else to do but Shravana, Manana, and Nitidhyasana. Among them are those who have obstructions and those who do not. Those who have a strong orientation of being the body have to eliminate that obstruction in order to recognize this clearly, and therefore they do Nididhyasana. Those who do not need only inquiry, Shravana and Manana. Some require Karma Yoga. Then there are those who require Antakarana Shuddhi, and for that the means is Karma Yoga. They may also be doing Shravana and Manana, but in addition they continue to perform karma, offering all their actions and the results of the actions to the Lord. How can Karma Yoga be the means of seeing Atma? It helps to prepare the mind so that in time they will see. Karma Yoga is not an alternative path. Those who do Karma Yoga also have to pursue knowledge. That must be always emphasized. Their karma is an offering to Ishvara because it is not motivated by their own likes and dislikes but by the situation. Then when the results come, they are received as coming from Ishvara. Thus, likes and dislikes get neutralized, and with their obstructions removed, knowledge takes place. Both the sannyasi and the karma yogi have to understand the Shastra's version of Atma and vision of Atma, and both suffer from the orientation of being the body, which is the opposite of what they have understood, Viparita Bhavana. Therefore, there is no option in Shravana, Manana and Nididhyasana. The object of seeing Darshana is Atma, whose nature is Sat Chit Anandam Brahma. This can only be seen in the intellect as the content of every thought. As in all the notes of a flute, the sound of the flute is recognized. Similarly, in every vritti you recognize Paramatma. Because he says they see Pashyanti, it implies that Paramatma itself is recognized by a vritti. But it is not like the vritti with which a pot, etc. is recognized. This vritti itself has no form. It is the Akhanda Akara vritti, and thus the content of this vritti can assume any form. Consciousness is present in every cognition, and if you see that this limitless consciousness is I, that recognition eliminates all the limitations from consciousness. Having destroyed the ignorance with reference to Atma Chaitanya being limitlessness, that vritti also goes away.
See, the vritti, basically what he says is limitlessness, akanda akara. Limitless meaning akanda akara. Akanda akara meaning akara means form. Akanda means continuous form, limitless. So actually it's no form only. It is just as normal. How to express that to you in Sanskrit? It is called akanda akara vritti. Limitlessness means we understand it better because we are used to that English and all that. Whereas Sanskrit it is akanda akara vritti meaning limitless. There is a vritti wherein you don't have any thought. You just be. That is called akanda akara vritti. Actually, there is you just be yourself. Just the be. There is no your thoughts are not interfering. You just be yourself. That is called akanda akara. And the having created the sense, by the time you understand Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasam, all the what you call this, all going through all this Pramana, Vichara and all that, the Vichara, the whole thing is done through words and you understand the words, whatever is not meant, the Lakshana is converted into Lakshya, what the word does not mean, relative meaning and all we are removing, all those things happen. Finally, it leaves you with your Swarupa and the vritti also vanishes. Something like Karpura vanishes after showing the Lord to you. That is why the Karpura Nirajanam is equivalent to this Akanda Akara. That is how it is. Yeah.
Those with no Viveka require certain disciplines. Then there are others who have no Viveka. They do not know what is Atma and Anatma, and when you try to teach them, they do not understand. Yet they want moksha. For them we advise various disciplines to prepare the mind. Those who follow such advice are called Shruti Parayanas, those whose commitment is to what they have been told. The teacher, the teacher who gives the advice may be a great Vedanti, but if he finds the student does not have adequate intellectual discipline to understand the Shastra, he will advise him to study grammar or logic and then teach him later. Or he may require some Upasana or Ashtanga Yoga to steady his mind. This is told in the following verse. Verse 25. Those who have heard from others also cross death. Anye tvam ajanantaha shrutva nebhya upasate tepi chati tarantyeva mrityum shruti parayanaha. Anye too, but others, evam ajanantaha, not knowing in this manner, anyebhyaha shrutva, having heard from others, their teachers, upasate, follow, te apicha, and they also, shruti parayanaha, who are committed to what they have heard, mrityum, death, atitaranti eva, indeed cross. But others, not knowing in this manner, having heard from others, their teachers, being committed to what they have heard, follow that, and indeed they also cross death. 2 is to distinguish this type from the 3 that were mentioned in the previous verse. They may be karma yogis or even sannyasis, but the pursuit of knowledge is not possible for them. Since the pursuit of knowledge is necessary, how should we advise them in order to make them qualified to do vichara if they do not have the type of mind capable of inquiring into Atma and Anatma? They are advised to follow what they have heard from their teachers. Here, what they have heard should be taken as the advice of the teacher. Often, the advice may not seem to have any connection with Atmajnana. If one is asked to do a particular asana daily, that may keep the body fit. But how, one may wonder, is it going to help the person in listening to Shastra? Or if one is put on a diet or sent on a pilgrimage or asked to do puja, japa or upasana, what has that got to do with Atma Jnana? Generally, the seekers are advised to do Gayatri Purascharana, which is repetition of Gayatri mantra 1,00,000 times the number of syllables in the mantra. In the Gayatri mantra, there are 24 syllables, and thus they repeat it 24 lakh times. Chanting daily 4 to 5 hours, one can complete it in 2 or 3 years. Though the connection between this and Atmajnana is not obvious, they do it because they are committed to what they have heard from their teachers, Shruti Parayanaha. In time, they acquire the necessary mental discipline and the teacher begins teaching. Gaining knowledge, they also cross death, gain moksha. Because he has used the word also, it implies how much more efficacious this is for those who have no obstacles. These are the discriminative ones who have no hindrance at all in understanding the pramana. This connects to what he said in the beginning. I will teach you what is to be known, knowing which you will gain immortality. Nyayam yat tat pravakshyami yat jnatva amritam asnute. The knowledge that the Kshetrajna Atma is in reality Parameshwara releases you from death and therefore from birth, in other words, from samsara. How is that possible? By knowledge, some would argue you can get bound. Before knowing something, you would not have had a desire for it. But once you come to know something very desirable, you can get completely obsessed by it. The argument is that knowledge is binding because it creates desires in you. Once you have desires, you have to fulfill them, and in trying to fulfill them, there are always obstructions. To remove them, you may go against dharma and incur papa, the results of which have to be experienced. Therefore, how do you get liberated by knowledge? Knowledge is the basis for desire, and desire is the cause for the action, for which you must reap the result. Finish.
Orientation. Our orientation is knowledge of an object. So once first you gain the knowledge of an object, then you develop a desire for the object because of the knowledge, then you go ahead and get it. So that is generally worldly knowledge. So that is why he asks this question. If you have a knowledge of Atma, then you will get bound by that. Then again you will be obsessed with it. So that is what that he is answering now.
We'll stop here, Swami.
Yeah. Okay. We'll start with verse 26.
Verse 26.
Yeah.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Guru Namaha Hari Om.